Hi, both of them. Good evening, Nena. Today, today is the 18th of the March, 2025, and we already did our theory parts, the all theorem parts relevant to textbook in our theory class, Saturday theory class. We completed all lesson in the first term, right? First term lessons right? Logarithms, indices, and the real numbers, area, and the volumes, as well as binomial expressions, algebraic fractions, and the last lesson we did the areas of the plane figures between the parallel lines, right? We did the all lessons in the grade 11 class. Therefore, now today we are going to start papers. There's a model papers relevant to our first term. First term, that is a 5-hour papers, right? Now we are going to discontinue the paper, right? Today we are going to start the first part, and you know the paper, right? How do you become a paper? There are two parts in the 2-hour paper. There is a 2-hour paper. In the 2-hour paper, we have a part 1. We call as a part A. This one's a part A. And there are 25 questions. 25 quiz. 25. And each questions we have to mark 82 marks. Therefore, 25 multiplied by 2. Now it becomes 50% of the first paper. 50%, right? 50%. And the part B, this one's a compulsory questions. There are structured ones. There are 5 quiz. We need to write the answers for all questions. Each questions we have to get 10 marks, scores 10 marks, and 10 times 5, right? 10 times 5. There are 5 questions by 10 marks. There are another 50%. Now totally 100%. And this is a way how to get the marks for the 2-hour paper. 2-hour paper. And the 3-hour paper, we have another 3-hour paper. There are also part 1 and the part 2 becomes as a part A, and the part B, part A and part B, right? There are only 12 questions. This one included the 1 to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. We need to write 5 questions. Compulsory, we need to write the 5 questions. 5 quiz, anivaryan. Therefore, 5 questions multiplied by 10 marks, and this becomes 50% of the paper. 50%, right? 50%. And part B, there are also same thing. There are also same thing. Question number 7 to 12. There are another 6 questions. We need to write as a 5 quiz. 5 multiplied by 10 marks, and it becomes also 50%. The all papers becomes as 100%. Now total becomes 200, and it's divided by 2. All right. Final එක එනවා අපිට 200%, and it's divided by 2. Then final result becomes 100%. And this is a structure, and this is a way how to get the marks for the 2-hour paper and the 3-hour paper. Right, Sidhu? Din duwe puthe record is panan nabaru grade 10, you already follow this structure. You know this structure. There are first term, second term, third term. You right, you face the three exams in the grade 10. Now you are the first term in the grade 11. There's the same scenario, right? 2 hour paper and 3 hour paper, right? And this is a structure. Now we are going to follow 2 hour paper. Started 2 hour paper. There are 25 questions and the 5 structural questions as a fractions, area, perimeter, pie charts, bandage, probabilities, like that, right? Now we are going to follow the part A, 2 hour paper, part A, right? සිදු පුතාට තේරුණානේ පුතේ මේක වැඩේ කොහොමද කියලා ඕනේ? Yes, නියමයි. Right. Now we are going to follow the part A, right? Model paper number 7, and this is a part A. It's part A. Right. Question number 1. Question number 1. Look at this. The question is write 2 to the power of 3 equals 8 in the logarithm form, right? Logarithmic form. And you know, indices and the logarithms, there are some relationship between the logarithms and the indices, right? We can write 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 equals, and you know, 8. This is a value for the indices. And this one we call as a base. We are wrapping a base. This one becomes as the index. And this one becomes as a value. And this is a value. In logarithmic form, we can write as a like this. Log, the base becomes 2. And this one we called as a base. This is a base, right? පල්ලෙහා තමයි එන්න ඕනේ. Base 1 එක තියෙන යටනේ base, right? Log 2 and the 80 becomes as a value. The logarithm of 8 delivered to the base 2 is equals to the 3. And this one is a value, make a value එක. මෙයාට අපි කියනවා logarithm. Logarithms, right? And this is a answer. Therefore, answer becomes as like this, right? Log logarithms of the 8 of the base to the base 2 becomes as a 3, right? Becomes as a 3. Therefore, base, value, and the logarithm. And this is a way how to write the index form into the logarithm form, right? Understood? Yes, right. I will note down that diagram. This is first question. And you can download the PDF file in the LMS system. හරිද? පිළිවෙලට වැඩේ කරන්න මොකද මේ අපි හදන ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් පේපර් එක පළවෙනි පේපර් එක පැය 5 යන එක දිගට. එක දිගට කන්ටිනියු කරන්න යන්න වැඩි. right? Right. Now, second question. Question number 2. Find the total interest to be paid for 2 years by person who borrowed 1000 at 12% of annual simple interest. This one becomes as the annual simple interest. This is the annual simple interest, and this one is a grade 10 part. Grade 10 part, right? There are 12 parts in the percentage lesson, right? In the grade 9, you remember? Profit, loss, commission, and the discount. In the grade 10, we call about the VAT, right? VAT, value added tax, custom duty, rates, and the simple interest, right? And the income tax. There are totally 9 things about the interest percentages in the grade 9 and the grade 10. Grade 11, you have 3 parts, right? Therefore, totally becomes as a 12 parts. Now, this one is a simple interest. This is a simple one. Find the total interest to be paid for 2 years. For 2 years. For 2 years by a person who borrowed 1000 at 12%. And this one is very easy, right? Question number 2. The answer becomes 1000. You can multiply by the 12%, and this is the interest for a year. And simple interest is very easy. The question asks for interest for a 2 years. Interest for a 2 years. Therefore, we can multiply by the 2. Right? Then question becomes as find the interest for 5 years. You need to multiply by the 5. Easy. Interest for 3 years. You need to multiply by the 3. Now, you have to simplify. 0, 0, 0, 0, and you can simplify, and now we are going to multiply. 10 into 20 into the 2 becomes 2 into 12 becomes 24. 24 multiplied by 10 becomes as 240. Rupees දාන්න ඕන. 240 rupees. You can write like this, or you can write like this. 240 rupees, right? There are 2 marks, method 1 mark, and the answer 1 mark. Some students only write the answer. මේක විතරයි ලියන්නේ. ලකුණු හම්බෙන්නේ කීයද? Only 1. That's only 1, right? Method එකේ ලකුණු නැහැ, right? Simplification part and the answer, right? You need to write the answer like that. Right. Now I will discuss question number 3. Right? Question number 3. Now look at this. Wow. Angles. That's a geometric questions. There are 8 questions. ලකුණු 16ක් ගන්න පුළුවන් වැඩක්. අන්න බලන්න වැඩි. According to the information given in the figure, find the value of A. Right? Now look at that. Now look at that. In the grade 10, we did the triangles 1 and the triangles 2. Right? The theorems related to the triangles, and this one is very, very important. Right? Look at the triangle. PQR triangle. PQR triangle. And this one is very specific one because 2 sides are equals. In the grade 10, we know about this theorem. If 2 sides are equal in a triangle, we call it as an isosceles triangle. And you know the isosceles theorem. What is the theorem? If 2 sides are equal in a triangle, we call it as an isosceles theorem. Isosceles triangles, as well as if 2 sides are equals in a triangle, then 2 opposite angles becomes equal. This is a very important, right? Make අනිවාර්යෙන් පුතේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ 25 questions වල එනවා. I sure and short ඉතින්, right? Definitely. Scouts. Now look at that. And this one is a A. This is an unknown term. Therefore, this one is also A. Yes, this one is also A. And here is 80. Now you can use another theorem for this question. What's theorem? And you know the sum of the three interior angles in the triangle is becomes as a 180 degrees. Now you can write equation like this: a plus a plus 80, a plus a plus 80 equals 180. Now you know a and a becomes 2a, and plus 80 go to the other side and it's minus. Subtract from the 180. Now answer becomes 2a equals 100. Finally, you can divide by the 2, right? You can divide by the 2. Therefore, finally, a is equals to the 50 degrees. And this is the answer for A. This is the answer for A, right? The important thing is there are two theorems. Isosceles theorem. What's the isosceles? Two sides are equals, therefore opposite angles are equals. And the second theorem, the sum of the interior angles becomes 180 degrees, right? Note down. Wow, good evening. Go.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Right, okay. Now we are going to the question number 4. Question number 4. Now look at that. Find the distance which can be traveled by the vehicle at the speed 96 kilometers per hour in 20 minutes. Find the distance. And you know about this, right? Look at that. We called as a DST triangle. This is a DST triangle. DST. And there are three relationships about that. Look at that. This is a multiplication about the S and T. And this is a D. D we called as a distance. Distance. Distance is equals to the speed and time. The product between the speed and time. Speed multiplied by time. Speed multiplied by time. And speed is equals. Speed equals. Speed look at that. Distance divide by time. Distance divide by time. And the third one becomes as a time. One more time. Time is a distance divided by speed. Distance divided by speed. And there are three formulas. Three formulas, right? Now look at the question. Find the distance. Oh, therefore distance is equals speed multiplied by time, and the speed and time should be a corresponding things. ඒ කියන්නේ ගැලපෙන්න ඕනේ පුතේ. මේ බලන්නකෝ වැඩි. Look at that question. 96 kilometers per hour and 20 minutes. ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? Yes. 96 kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour. Hour. Time becomes hour. And this one represent 20 minutes. ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. Therefore, we need to change time as a hours එන ටයිම් එක අනිවාර්යෙන් hours කරන්න වෙනවා. මේ බලන්න වැඩි. අපි දන්නවා speed is equals 96 kilometers per hour. ඒක අවුලක් නේ. But look at the time. Time is equals to the 20 minutes. Therefore, we can change 20 minutes. We have to change the hours. How to change the hours? And we know 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Therefore, minutes into the hours. 60 minutes becomes 1 hour. That's a divide by the 60. Therefore, 20 divide by 60. And that one represent as a 20 times 1 and 20 times 3. And this is answer 1/3. 1/3 hours. Right? Now we can find the answer for a distance. Now you can find the answer for distance. Now look at that. Distance equals speed multiplied by time. Therefore, 96 multiplied by 1/3. 3 times 1 and 9 we can simplify. 9 is a 3 times 3 and 6 is a 2. Now answer becomes 32 kilometers. Then answer becomes as a kilometers. Answer becomes as a kilometers. Now you got it? Yeah, right? And this is a trick, right? And here's another trick. Trick now look at this. Then question becomes the speed, distance. No, find the distance which can be traveled by the vehicle at the speed of 96 kilometers per hour in 30 seconds. Now question becomes 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Seconds and 96 kilometers per hour. Galapenne. Right? That is not corresponding. Therefore, 96 kilometers per hours, you need to change as a meters per second. ms minus 1. Now look at that. මේක හරි වැදගත් දෙයක්. Kilometers per hours. Change into the ms minus 1. මේක කරන්න අපිට තියෙන විදිහ හරි ලේසි ට්‍රික් එකක්. You need to multiply 5/18. You need to multiply 5/18. 5/18. මේම කරා නම් වැඩේ හරි. Right? And the same thing, ms minus 1. Change as a kmh minus 1. And its one is 18/5. මේ දෙන මාරු කළා නම් හරි උඩ යන්න. That's a reciprocal. 18/5. And this one is important. Questions වලට මේක මාර වැදගත් ඈ. Right? As example, look at that. 72 kmh minus 1. Look at this. 72 kmh minus 1. We have to change as a ms minus 1. You need to multiply 5/18. 5/18. Now look at that. 72 multiplied by 5/18. 18 times 1, 18 times 4, and 4 multiplied by the 5, it becomes as a 20 ms minus 1. As example, right? In these type questions, you need to know about these tricks. May tricks diha hondara oluwe tiyenna ඕන. Right? Now you can solve the any questions. Right? On a question එකක් අරගෙන මම මේකේ හැම එකක්ම කියලා දුන්නා. Okay? Right. Now හැමෝටම තේරුණා පුතේ? උමා, දුව, and සිතුල් තේරුණාද මේ trick එක? Yes. එහෙමයි. Very good. අපි ලස්සනට මේක note down එකක් දාගමු හැමෝම. Recordings බලන්න අපයි මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් දාගන්න note එකක්. Right? Right. Now we are going to the question number 4. Sorry, question number 5. And this one is very important about the previous one. There are two theorems related to the triangles. Now this is the another theorem in the relevant to the triangles. Triangles වල තව වැදගත් theorem එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් එනවා පුතේ. O levels අනිවාර්යෙන් එන theorem එකක්. Right. Now look at this. This is a diagram. And this is the extended side. If we have extended side of a triangle, there are exterior angle. This is exterior angle, x. X is the exterior angle. The theorem becomes as a, if side is produce exterior angle of a triangle, that exterior angle should be equal to the sum of the interior two opposite angles. මෙන්න මේ opposite interior angles දෙකේ sum එක තමයි x is කියලා කියන්නේ. x එක කියන්නේ. මාරම ලේසි. Now you can write x becomes x equals 60 plus 50. Now answer is 110 degrees. 110 degrees. Some students, right? සමහර අය මෙහෙම හදනවා. Look at that. එන වටයක් ගන්න මේක ගන්න. 50, 60. They are find the answer for here. Firstly, මෙතන හොයාගන්න. How to find the answer for here? 60 plus 50, 110, and you know the sum of the interior angles. Therefore, 180 minus 110. Now it becomes as a 70 degrees. Therefore, this is a straight line. This is a straight line, and this one becomes as a 70. Now you can find the x, and you know the sum of the two edges and angle becomes as a supplementary angles, we call as supplementary ones. And the 70 plus x becomes 180. Therefore, x becomes 180 minus 70, it becomes 110. මෙන්න මෙහෙම වටයක් ගහනවා. උත්තරේ ඉතින් වැරදි නෑ උත්තරේ හරි. right? ඉතින් එච්චර කටු කණ්ඩ ඕනේ නෑ. right? මේ බලන්න. උත්තරේ ගෙනීම ගත්ත හැකි theorem එක දාන්න මේක අනිවාර්යයෙන් එනවා theorem එක. right? This is a very important theorem in the grade. 10 එකේ තියෙන්නේ triangles 1 and triangles 2. ඉතින් අපි ලස්සන ලියගමු. This is the question number 5. Right. And the question number 6. Look at the Venn diagrams. Now look at that. Shade the region A union B. Union means the all elements in the set A and set B and the complement of that. Complement means it's not belongs to A union B. That's the area. That's the shaded portion. Right. Now look at that. And this one we called as a universal set. Right. And there are intersection of the B. The middle one becomes A intersection B. Right? The question is A union B. Now tell me, what is the meaning of the A union B? A union B is this one. This is the A union B. Right? The question is a complement of that. A, B, right? And this one is A. Therefore, what is the shaded portion? A union B complement. It's not belongs to this one. In a make and a make, right? The remaining portion, therefore outside of the states A and B, like this. Now this is the answer for the question number 6, right? This is the answer, right? This is the answer. This one is A union B. Therefore, complement of the A union B becomes as a like that. Got it? Understood? Nearby. Good. Okay. Now we are going to the question number 7. This was also grade 10. This is also grade 10. And you know, in the first term of the grade 11, there are both questions becomes as a grade 9 and grade 10. They can tell very poor 9 and 10, right? And this was some mandates we called as inverse proportions. Inverse proportions, the rate proportion, and this one becomes as inverse proportions. We call as a mandates, right? Mandates. How many days should be worked by 6 men? By 6 men to complete half of the task. To complete half of the task. To complete half of the task of draining canal, which can be completed in 48 man days. Now tell me, half of the task. Therefore, the total magnitude we call as a magnitude. But magnitude of the task. It becomes as a 48 man days. Therefore, half of the task. Then answer becomes like this: half of 48 man days. Therefore, 48 man days here. This is a magnitude. Therefore, task becomes as a 2 times 1 and 2 times 24. Now, task becomes as a 24 man days. Now you know this one becomes as the product between the man and the days. Man and the days. The question is how many days? We don't know, but 6 men. Now you can write like this. Therefore, 6 multiplied by D, days, men and days, becomes as a 24. Now D is becomes 24 divided by 6. Now it becomes 4 days. It becomes 4 days. And this is the answer. And this is the answer. This one's a very easy thing. Right. තේරුවානේ දැන් පොඩම ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න ඕනේ. Right? Okay. Right. Now this is question number 8. Question number 8. Height of the triangular prism. Height of the triangular prism. Right. With the cross-sectional area. Now you know the theorem, right? 30 cm square is 8. Now 8 is a height of the triangular prism, and the cross-sectional area of the cross-section becomes as a 30 square centimeters. And find its volume. Now you know we have containers like equal cross-sections. There are very specific thing about the volumes of that, and it becomes as like volume is equals like this. It's a triangular prism like this. triangular prism. The height means in this case length, right? The height becomes as a length now. This is a height, we call as a length, right? Make a height again. This one we called as a cross section, area of the cross section. Area of cross section. And the product between these two things becomes volume. ඒක තමයි මාරම ලස්සන කතාව. මේක අනිවාර්යයෙන් මතක තියාගන්න. Right? This one's very important. අනිවාර්යෙන් එන position එකක්. Volume is equals to the area of cross section. Area of cross section multiplied by length. නැත්නම් මේක තව වචනයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් අපිට height කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. කලිනුත් කියලාදී, right? This becomes as a height or the length, right? Now you can find the volume. Therefore, what is the answer? When answer, volume is equal to the area of the cross section becomes as a 30 cm squared, and the height becomes as the 8 cm of this triangular prism. And the 30 into the 8 becomes 240. Now this one becomes as a cubic centimeters. And listen, I'm going to put some special notes here. There are more two things about that volume lesson. That are the cubic centimeter is equals to the 1 milliliter, and this one's are relevant to the grade 9, right? Now think as like this. The question becomes as a find the volume, find the capacity of this container of this triangular prism in milliliters, in liters. ආව කියන question එක එහෙම. You have to know about these relationships. Cubic centimeter becomes as a 1 milliliter, and the cubic meter becomes as a 1000 liters. 1000 liters. This one's very special note relevant to this question, right? අපේ paper revision class එකේ තියෙන වැදගත් දේ මොකද්ද? අපි question එකේ answer විතරක් හදන්නේ නැහැ පුතේ. මට එහෙම වැඩක් නැහැ. We have to follow the theorems. We have to follow the revisions, right? We have to know about these theorems. මේ වැදගත් දේවල් ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. Right? Answer එක අරගන්න එක ඕන හිටන්න පුළුවන්. Right? This is a theorem part. You need to memorize. මේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔළුව මතක තියාගන්න ඕන. Right? Understood? Right. Note down. Note down. Note down කරාද කොහොමද සිතු Uma done very good right and this is question number 9 right this is our first 5-hour paper right we went to the first term that's the reason why I note the short notes like that right ඊළඟ එකේ දැන් මෙහෙම දෙන්නේ නැහැ ගැනීම කියනවා first paper එකේ කිව්වා කියලා right right now listen find the magnitude of the ABC angle ABC of the parallelogram ABCD right find the magnitude of the ABC angle ABC of the parallelograms now you know the theorems the special characteristics about the parallelograms special characteristics about the parallelograms what are they opposite sides equal and parallel opposite angles are equals and each diagonals bisect the area of the parallelogram and each diagonals bisect each other right that are the special characteristics of the parallelogram and you know look at this and this is a parallelogram like this and we know these two things are parallel and these two opposite angles sides becomes parallel and this is a diagonal and this one becomes 50 degrees and here is a 70 degrees and this one D C B A and that's it find the angle of the ABC here you need to find the answer for here right for here now how to find the answer for here look at this one you need to find there are so many ways right firstly look at this triangle in the ADC triangle and you know how to find the answer for here make a hand done how to find this one 180 is the sum of these three angles and you need to subtract the sum of 50 and the 70 and that one becomes as a 180 minus 120 then answer becomes 60 degrees this one is a 60 degrees and you know the theorem two opposite angles are equals these two angles becomes equals in a parallelogram two opposite angles are equals therefore we can write two opposite angles are equals in a parallelogram therefore we can write angle ABC becomes 60 degrees 60 degrees right and this is a method only method okay easy now right right question number 10 question number 10 right if the probability of the obtaining orange plant which having the same features of parent from tree a sample of orange seeds of 1 over 6 1 over 6 that's a probability and how many orange plants having same features have same features of parent tree can be obtained from 120 This sounds very easy. Therefore, the probability becomes as the same samples of the orange seeds becomes 1 over 6. Therefore, you need to find the 120 and 1 over 6 of the 120. Now, 6 times 1 and 6 times 20. Therefore, answer becomes 20. How many orange plants? Therefore, 20 orange. How many orange plants having same features? Therefore, 20 orange plants. And this is a probability. This is a probability. That's easy. Right. Now you can try this one. Hurry up and find the answer for x. Simplify, simplify. Yeah, it's not equations. This one is relevant to the algebraic fractions in the grade 10, right? The lesson, the first lesson in the second term, algebraic fractions. And you know about the LCM, lowest common multiples of the algebraic expressions, right? This one's, and there are no expressions, this one's only terms. 1 over 6, sorry, 1 over x minus 5 over 6x, right? This one's easy. This one's easy. Because why? Firstly, you have to change the denominator as LCM of the fractions. 6x and the x becomes 6x is LCM. You can multiply by 6. You can multiply by 6. Now answer is 6 minus 5 over 6x. Now answer is 1 over 6x. And this is answer. This is answer. You can lazy, right? This one's very easy. 1 over x multiplied by 6 and the 5 over 6x. You need to change the LCM as LCM, denominators change as LCM, and find the answers. Easy, right? Can you try it? Make a try करूँ बता रही है अभी. Hurry up. Find the answer over there. Hurry up, बोलो. What is the answer? Hello, 30 19 divided by 6x. Right. We can find. Right. Now look at this. 3x, x, and the 2x. And what is the LCM? 3x, x, and 2x. The x is a common thing. And 3 and 1 and 2 2 and 3 becomes as a prime numbers. So therefore, LCM is a product of between them. Therefore, 6x is a LCM. Now you can multiply by the 2. පොඩි කාලේ හැමෝම කරන්නේ නේද? Multiply by 6 and multiply by 2. Sorry, multiply by 3. Right? This is the method. Therefore, answer becomes the common denominator becomes 6x, and this one becomes as 4 plus 6 plus 9. Yes, Situ, very good. Then answer becomes 19 over 6x. 19 over 6x. Very good, Dumo. Very good, very good. How you can find? Right. Look at the question number 12. And this one's relevant to the angles again. බලන්න දැන් angles වලින් questions එනවා කිව්වා මම. ලකුණු ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Angles in a circle. Angle in circles. Grade 10 lesson එක. Right? Look at that. What's the theorem? And you know the theorem. This is a circle and this is a center. The angle subtended at the center is 2 times of the angle subtended at the circumference. This one is x and this one becomes as a 2x. This is a theorem. This is theorem. Now look at that. Now look at that equation. Now question becomes as here is 35 and this one becomes as x. Very easy thing. Very easy thing, right? And of the given figure, it's the center of the circle ON, A, B, C, and the 3 points of the line on the circle. That's the circumference, A, B, C points. And find the value for the x. And you know, substitute at the center is a 2 times of the circumference. Therefore, x becomes as 2 multiplied by 35. Then answer is 70 degrees. දැකලා පුතේ වැඩි? Now Modal AC. This one is a 70 degrees, right? Hurry up. Note down that down. Question number 13. This is also grade 9. Inequalities. Inequalities, and you can find the answer of this question, right? Right. Solve 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 greater than 9. Greater than 9. Right? Now how to simplify? And you know x multiplied by 2 and then add 1 is a greater than the 9. Therefore, you will subtract 1 from the both sides like this. 2x plus 1, you need to subtract 1 from the left hand side, also right hand side. Now plus 1 and the minus 1 becomes eliminated. Now 2x is a greater than 8. Now you can divide by the 2. 2 and 2 eliminated. Finally, x is a greater than 4. And this is the answer. But we have the small theorems there in the grade 9. The left hand side and right hand side, both sides, multiplying by the negative number or the dividing by the negative number, the unequal signs becomes as a change, right? Now look at this. Try this one, and find the answer for over here. Like this. 7 minus 3x. equals becomes as a මම ගන්නම් මේක 28. Right. Now find the answer. Sorry, it's not equal. Greater than or equal. Now hurry up. Find the answer. Solve. X greater than or equal 7. බලමු. Fine. Right. Now look at this. 7. Therefore, and you know the theorems. We need to remove 7 firstly. Therefore, 7 minus 3x minus 7 greater than or equal 28 minus 7. And minus 7 and the plus 7 eliminated. Look at this. Minus 3x greater than or equal 21. Now listen. Now listen. This one's very important. Look at that. Now I am going to divide by the minus 3. And 21, again we have to divide by the minus 3. Now look at that. Then unequal signs becomes as a change. අනිත් පැත්ත හැරෙනවා පුතේ. Right? It becomes as a change. That's the inverse thing. මෙයාව change එනවා අනිත් පැත්තට මේ. Look at that. This in negative number එකකින් multiply වෙද්දි හරි divide වෙද්දි හරි. When you are going to multiplying or the dividing by the negative number, the inequalities, then inequal sign becomes as a change. අනිත් පැත්ත හැරෙනවා. Now what to do? Now answer becomes x less than or equal minus 7. How it become minus 7? Because 21 divided by 3 becomes 7 and the positive 1 divided by the negative 1 becomes minus. Now you got it? දැන් මේක තේරුණාද? අපි හදාගමු ලස්සන note down එකක් දාගමු. Right? වැදගත්තා. ආවොත් question එක. හරි? Right. Next question. Question number 15. Solve. Right. This one is a simple linear equation. Simple linear equation. Now you can try it. Now you can try it. 2 times x plus 3. Now look at this. 2 times x plus 3 equals 10. There are two methods to solve these type of equations, because this one left hand side of the equation is like a family. There is a no addition and subtraction. This one becomes 2 multiplied by the x plus 3. This one is a whole family and equals to 10. Now the first method is method number 1. Method number 1 is you can expand the brackets. How to expand the brackets? 2 times x 2x and plus 3 into 2 becomes 6 equals to the 10. Now plus 6 go to the other side. Now 2x becomes as a 10 minus 6. Now you can write 2x equals to the 4. Now again both sides are dividing by the 2. Now finally x becomes 2. And this is a method number 1. That's expanding brackets. Without expanding brackets, you can simplify like this. 2 times x plus 3 equals 10. Now look at this. 2 times 1 and 2 times 5. Look at that. Look at that. You can simplify both sides, left hand side and right hand side. Now, here is no brackets now because 1 is nothing, right? X plus 3 becomes 5. And you know x becomes 5 minus 3. Now x becomes 2. Right? Same answer. Same answer. You have to follow the these two methods. This is method number 2. Right? Got it? Duma and the Vito, Situ, common. There, right? Without no tech. Yes, very good. This one is a simple linear equations, right? Simple linear equation. There are 3 types of the equations. No? Simple linear equations, simultaneous equation, and the quadratic equations. This one is a simple linear equation. Question number 16. And this one is also grade 10. Right? What is the answer? Text me. What is the answer? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? What is the answer? In which two perfect square numbers does 14 of the square root of the 14 exist? Very serious. Right? What is the method? What is the previous square number and what is the next square number? 14 is between square root of the 9 and the square root of the 16. Therefore, answer is the 9 and 16. Therefore, yeah, that's the number 2. 9 and 16. Which perfect square numbers? Square numbers ගැන නෙහන්නේ පුතේ. නේද? අපෙන් අහන්නේ which two whole numbers කියලා. Right? Which two whole numbers becomes as between the square root of 14, it becomes as a 3 and 4. එහෙම හැවුවනම් 3 and 4. But in this situation, perfect square numbers becomes 9 and the 16. That's easy. That's easy. Question number 17. And this question is very important. බලන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් first term ලියනකොට එන්නේ papers. මම කිව්ව දේවල් බලන්න, right? And this one is very important. මේකත් බොහොමයක් වෙන ප්‍රසිද්ධ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. Right? Curved surface area of the cylinder curved surface area of the cylinder, right? Now look at that. Right. And now look at this. Now this is a cylindrical shape. Yes or no? This is cylindrical shape, right? Now I'm going to cut and expand like this. Now this one is a square. Now how to find the area of the square? Length into breadth, and you know length into breadth. Now look at this. Now look at this. This one is a circumference, like see, it's like a circumference perimeter of a circle. It's like a circle. Therefore, this one should be a length. And you know how to find the circumference of the circle. Now it becomes as a 2 pi r, right? This one's a rectangular portion, right? What is that? Curved surface, right? This one is a 2 pi r. And look at that. This one becomes as a, the breadth becomes as a height. එයා තමයි height එක. This one is a height. Therefore, breadth one becomes as a height. Therefore, area is a 2 pi RH. Make a mara, right? 2 pi RH. Now look at the question. The curved surface of cylinder with base circumference is 132. Therefore, base circumference becomes 2 pi r. 2 pi r becomes as a 132 emalu cm. And right, area is a 1,320. Area, area equals, අපි දන්නවා කවුද? 2 pi r multiplied by h. And now you know the value for the 2 pi r. It becomes 132. And we don't know the value for the height. Now area becomes as a 1,320. Now easy. Find its height. Now you can find the value for height. Both left hand side and right hand side you can divide by the 132. Now height becomes 10 cm. And you know 1,320 divided by 132, it becomes 10. And this is a theorem. This is a theorem. This is a theorem. Right? And this is cylinder, and this is a curved surface, 2 pi RH, and the area becomes 2 pi RH. That means circumference and the height. Right? Note down this one. Question number 18. Question number 18. This is also related to the geometric parts, the angles, the size, length, right? Like that. Look at this. This is also very important thing. And AB we called as a chord of a circle. And O becomes as a center. That's a default form, right? and the O to X. This one is a perpendicular, and you know the straight lines we had drawn from the center to chord. That's a perpendicular. Now what to do? Now what to do? මොකද වෙන්නේ? Chord becomes as a bisected by this straight line. මෙන්න වැඩේ. වැදගත්ම දෙයක් නේද? If you have a perpendicular, then chord becomes as bisect. And chord bisect by straight line, that straight line becomes as a perpendicular. අනිවාර්යෙන් වැදගත්ම දෙයක්. Right? Now look at this. And AO is a radius, and this one is a 5 cm. This one is a 3 cm. Now look at this triangle. This one is a right angular triangle. Now you can use the Pythagoras theorem. Now look at this. This is a O, this is a, and this is a X. This is X. Right, and this is a right triangle. 3 cm, 5 cm. And this side we called as a hypotenuse. Very විශේෂණවත් දෙනවනේ. Hypotenuse. Now you can write the Pythagoras relationship. How to write? 5 to the power of 2 is equal to the 3 to the power of 2 plus ax to the power of 2. Ax to the power of 2. Ax square. Ax to the power of 2. Now 3 to the power of 2 becomes this side, and the 25 is a 5 to the power of 2. 3 to the power of 2 becomes as a 9. We can subtract from the 25, and here is a ax to the power of 2. Now we can write ax to the power of 2 becomes 16. Now you can apply the square roots for the both sides to remove the square. Now ax becomes as a 4 cm. Now we know value for the ax. Ax becomes as a 4 cm. Now question is find the length of the chord AB. AB, and you know AB is equals to the 2 times ax. Therefore 2 multiplied by 4. Now it becomes as a 8 cm. 8 cm. This is a theorem. And what's the theorem? Perpendicular. OX perpendicular to the AB when AOX becomes as a perpendicular. Now AB bisected by the OX. Right? Now AOX bisected by the AB. Now OX becomes as a perpendicular. Perpendicular, then bisect. Bisects, then becomes as a perpendicular. That's easy thing. මේක තේරුණාද? කවුද උමා? හිතුවද? Yeah, right. Note down this one. Hurry up. Right. And question number 19. Factorize. And this one is very easy. Factorize. Find the answers. Hurry up. This one's relevant to the grade 9. There are 3 types of the factors. The first one becomes common factors, trinomial quadratic expressions, and the difference between two squares. And this one, there are no common factors. There are no difference between two squares. Therefore, this one becomes as a trinomial. There are 3 terms. Clear? Right? අපි හරව දක්ගාලා Find the answers. Check right. Trinomial quadratic expressions. What are the answers? Hurry up. Trinomial quadratic expressions like this. We did it because in the lesson, matakada lesson neka algebraic fractions. We did the same thing. X squared plus 5x plus 6. You have to know about this, right? In the theory class, right? The order is correct, and we have to get the product of the first term and the last term. The sign is a very important thing. The sign becomes as a plus 6x squared, and plus means the sum of these two numbers becomes middle one plus 5x, right? Now product between two numbers becomes as 6. Therefore answer is a plus 3x into the plus 2x. And you know plus becomes plus into plus or minus into minus. That's the logic. Plus becomes minus into minus or plus into plus. And look at the middle one becomes plus. Therefore all terms becomes as a plus. And this is a suitable couple for a 5x. Now you can write x squared plus 5x plus 6. මේක වෙනුවට 5x වෙනුවට මම ලියනවා x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Now we have four terms. The common factor of the first two terms becomes x. Now inside of the bracket becomes x plus 3. Now you can repeat the same bracket here. X plus 3. X is there. The missing part is a plus 2. Now you know there are two factors. The first one is inside of the brackets, terms of the inside of the brackets, and the terms outside of the brackets, x plus 2 and the x plus 2. Easy, right? හරි නේද උත්තර? මා and සිතුම් කොහොමද උත්තර ටික හරිනේ? Yeah, this one's easy, yeah. Grade 9. Question number 20. Right, find the answer. Find the perimeter of the semicircle given in the figure. කොහොමද පුතේ perimeter එක මේකේ? Grade 10. Find the perimeter. right? Okay, now let's try. Now look at this. This is a semicircle, right? And you know how to find the circumference of a circle. This one we call as arc length, no? This one we call as arc length, right? This one we call as a diameter. Make out the diameter. Therefore, perimeter should be the sum of the all lengths around the figure. Therefore, arc length plus diameter, right? This was very easy. The diameter becomes 14 cm, right? 14 cm per. The question is find the perimeter. Now, problem is we don't know the value for the arc length. Firstly, you need to find the arc length. There are two methods to find arc length. And you know C equals 2 pi r. This is a circle. Therefore, semicircle is a arc length of the semicircle becomes pi r. Circle like a 2 pi r. Therefore, half of the circle becomes semicircle pi r, right? Or pi d is a circle, right? Or pi d, semicircle becomes a pi d divided by 2, right? There are two equations. Now you can use the phi r. Phi means 2 or 22 over 7 into the radius. Radius is equals to the 14 divided by 2, right? Therefore, it becomes 7. 7 and 7 we have to cut. Therefore, answer is a 22 cm. This is the arc length. Now we can find the perimeter. 22 plus 14, it becomes 36 cm. Wow. Yes, it's 36. Very good. Yeah, it's 36. Yeah. Now understood, Umam? And the Situ? Yeah, that's easy, huh? Question number 21. This one's also relevant to grade 10. Last lesson in the first term. What is that? Lowest common multiple of the algebraic expressions. Now, find the answer. Text me. Chat down for the answer. Hurry up. Right, now look at this. This one we can find like this. Now look at this. Look at the LCM of the 5 and 6 and 3. 5 and 6 and 3. What is the LCM? We are looking for the greatest. Greatest is a 6. 6 is not divisible by the 5. Therefore, we are going to the another multiples. 6, 12, 18. No, we can't divide by the 5. 24, 30. Yes, 30 is also divided by the 5 and the 3. Therefore, 30 is the LCM of the numbers. Now look at the different terms, x and y. Who is the greatest index? X to the power of 2. That's the maximum power of the x. Therefore, x to the power of 2 and y. Therefore, LCM is a 30x square y. That's the LCM, right? Right? That's the LCM. But method is you need to write product between prime numbers and the indices, This one is a 5 multiplied by x. This one is a 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by x to the power of 2. And this one 3 multiplied by x multiplied by y. Now there are how many different terms? There are 2, 3, 5, x, and y. There are 5 different types. Who is the maximum? Who is the maximum? 2 to the power of 1, 3 to the power of 1, 5 to the power of 1, x to the power of 2, and y to the power of 1. That are the maximum power of the different terms. Now look at it. 2 into 3 into 5 becomes 30, and x square y. And this is the method. This is the answer. This is the answer. Right. Dot dot. Very good, Sidhu. Your answer is correct. Now this one's relevant to our last lesson, grade 11, last lesson. Mathagati. The areas of the figures, plane figures between the parallel lines. There are three things. There are three things. What are they? The same base and the same parallel lines, between same parallel lines, the area of the parallelograms are equals. The area of the triangles are equals. And last one is the area of the triangle is a half of the area of the parallelogram. That's the rule. Now look at this. The area of the triangle PQT is a 30. Now look at that. PQT is a 30. PQT is a 30. Find the area of the parallelogram. Look at that. Same base and same height. Therefore, what's the theorem? The area of the parallelogram, right? Area of parallelogram is equal to the 2 times of the area of triangle. And this is a theorem, right? Therefore, answer becomes 2 multiplied by 13. Then answer becomes 26 cm squared. 26 cm squared. This is answer. This is answer, right? You got it? That's the last lesson we did in the our theory class in last Saturday. Sorry, last Saturday. I already upload the video into the LMS system. You can watch, right? Mm. 23. 23. The mean weight. The mean weight of the 5 children is 54. What's the mean of that? 5 children of mean of 5 children is a 54, right? When another child joins to this group, mean weight becomes as a 55. And find the weight of the new joined child, right? This one's easy, right? This one is easy. The mean, what is the equal? What is the meaning of the mean? It's like an average, right? It's like an average, and you know how to find the mean. The sum of the all students divided by the number of students. Therefore, the sum of the weight, right? The sum of the weights, total weight, we call as a total weight. Look at this. Total weight of 5 students. 5 students equals to the mean is a 54. No? Therefore, answer becomes 54 multiplied by 5. That's a total. 5 times 4, 22 remainders and 27 kilograms. 270 kilograms. Right? මේක තමයි පුතේ මොකද්ද වෙන්න ඕනේ? Total weight එක කාගේද? Of 5 students. Now tell me, now we can find also use this method. total weight of 6 students එක්කෙනෙක් එකතු වෙනවනේ මෙතනට is equals to the 55 is a mean yeah 55 into the 6 30 and 33 kilograms. Now look at that. එක්කෙනෙක් වැඩි වුණා. Therefore, difference between these two things becomes as the weight of the new students, the joint student. Therefore, answer එක නම් මට එන when another child joined this group, mean weight is 55. Find the weight of. Now we can write weight of newly joined student is equal to the 330 minus 270. It becomes 60 kilograms. And this is final answer. Now you got it? Yes? Yeah, done. Right, okay, note down. That's a 23rd question. Right, this is a question number 24. Right, and මේකත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ප්‍රශ්නයක් graph y equals mx plus c, y equals mx, and the gradient, intercepts, and equations. Right, this one's very important. Now look at that. Find the equation of the straight line given in the graph. Right, now look at that. We already discussed about these type of questions. අපි මේවා ගැන ඕන තරම් කතා කරලා තියෙනවා, right? And the x-axis here, and here it's a +1. This is the intersection point, and this one becomes 1 3. This is a coordinate, right? This is a coordinate, and what's the this one coordinate? 0 1. I make a 0 1 එතකොට, right? And intersection points of the y-axis we called as a intercept. අපි මේකට කිව්වා intercept කියලා නේද? එහෙනම් ඒක තමයි c කියලා කියන්නේ. This is a c. Y equals mx plus c, and m equals gradient, c equals intercept, right? And look at the question. The question is a equation එක හොයන්න තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Right, now we can find the equation. Look at that. First we have to find the gradient. M is equals to difference of y coordinates divided by difference of x coordinates. Now how to find y coordinates? Means 3 and 1. 3 minus 1 divided by 1 minus 0. Now gradient becomes as a 3 minus 1 is a 2, and 1 minus 0 is a 1. Now gradient equals plus 2. Gradient equal plus 2. Now you know intercept becomes as a 1. Intercept becomes as a 1. Now what is the equation? Y equals mx plus c. Therefore y equals gradient becomes 2. This one becomes 2x and plus 1. easy. Very good. Right? මතකයිනේ සිතුම් මේවා. මේකේ ලොකු නෝට් එකක් කරලා අපි last week නේ. Yeah. එච්චර ලොකු නෝට් එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. බෝඩ් එක පිරෙන්න කතා කරා. Right. Question number 25. This is the last question in the part A. In the part A, the last question is about the locus. Constructions, losses, right? Malu ready? There are four major locus points. The locus points of the equidistance AB and CD. AB, oh sorry, equidistance to AB is CD. Harini? AB is a straight line. AB is a straight line. Therefore, equidistant. The locus of the point equidistant straight line is a parallel line. Yes, we know that. We know that. ඒක අපි දන්න. ඒක දීලා තියෙනවා. Right? ඒක දීලා. And using the knowledge of the loci, name the point P which lies on CD and equidistance AB and AC. Now look at that. AB and AC. There are two straight lines. Two straight lines. Therefore, the locus is a angle bisector. Angle bisector. How write the angle bisector AB and AC? Look at that, like this. And you have to draw the arc like this, and there are two intersection points, and lie your compass into the here and draw the arc like this and do the same thing. And this is the angle bisector, and this is a intersection point, and this one is a T called as a T, and mark the T here. Angle bisector. You got it? Right. That's a thing. Right. Good. Now, Sidhu and everyone, now this is our part A, right? Now we have a part B, and the next week we are going to discuss of the part B, right? In this paper, ඉතින් වැඩේ කරපු ලස්සනටම වැඩ කරන්න ලකුණු ගන්න 5 hour paper එකේ. නියමයි එහෙනම් අපි හැමෝම අපව Saturday class එකකින් did the theory class. In the Saturday class we did all theorems. Now we are going to the revisions, right? The Saturday class, right? And we also Tuesday we have our theory sorry, revision and the paper class, right? එහෙනම් දන්න යාළුවන්ටත් කියන්න, right? අපි join වෙලා වැඩේ කරමු, right? එහෙනම් හැමෝටම God bless you. Good night all. Okay, welcome Situ, welcome.